It's Nolan.
Lot of broken promises I've been waiting on. Lot of y'all been hating, but that's the way it go. People I used to run with trying to play me. No matter what they do, can't let them change me, no. Lot of broken promises I've been waiting on. Lot of y'all been hating, but that's the way it go. Women I used to love them try to play me. No matter what they do, can't let them change me, no. Call my parents for clarity. They left it to Cali for hours, a baby. I wonder if fashion was fair to me. Never got to connect with my family. But here I am on my way to 100 grand. It's independent game. It took me from apartments to some land. I guess I should be grateful. All my life I wanted them pesos. Living was shameful. Working jobs for minimum payroll. Willing and able. Couldn't find my way out the trap. Met a girl to push me forward. So nice, no looking back. So many snakes I dead them. Cut them off. I had to behead them. Fake managers that wanna be rappers, man. I regret them. In this city, everybody crave a taste of the fame. The ones I thought would keep it silent, they turned out to be lames. I wish them well though, don't hope they fail though. Delete my cell though, cause I ain't got the time for the capping like a sombrero. Shopping on Melrose, about to hit the strip with a grip. Kinda crazy how I made it this far. Life is a trip, right? Lot of broken promises I've been waiting on. Lot of y'all been hating, but that's the way it go. People I used to run with trying to play me. No matter what they do, can't let them change me, no. Lot of broken promises I've been waiting on. Lot of y'all been hating, but that's the way it go. Women I used to love them try to play me. No matter what they do, can't let them change me, no.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everyone is doing well this evening. As y'all know, this Jay-Z thing has been going absolutely insane on the internet. Everybody's got an opinion about it, whether you believe the story or you believe that Tony Buzbee is a scam artist. However you feel about the situation, everybody's been expressing their opinion. Everybody's been talking about this thing, from content creators to online profiles to the biggest publications out there, trying to get to the bottom of this thing. And there's a lot of twists and turns that are happening right now. As of right now, a lot of the twists and turns that are coming from Jay-Z's side, because he's taking a very vigilant stance. He's not wasting any time, and he is pouncing on the opportunity to snuff Tony Buzbee out of here, claiming that he's been running an extortionate campaign against him for the last couple of months, trying to strong arm money out of him, sending him a demand letter, which they feel is a legalized form of extortion, basically saying we need to come to the table for mediation. Tony Buzbee claims that they weren't looking for any money. Jay-Z says you absolutely came to me looking for money. And Tony Buzbee went on the news and said that there are a lot of celebrities that are going to be named in these lawsuits, and in order for them to avoid being named, they would be settling. And he said that they were actively settling. So that was a message that he put out. You can go look that up anywhere on the internet. It's available for you. This was stated months ago when it was just Diddy. Now that Jay-Z is involved, he's not taking it lightly, and he's using all of the legal resources that are available to him to clear his name. Some people don't like that. Some people feel away. But although most of us feel like we would never find ourselves in this position, if you somehow found yourself in this position and you felt that you were wrongfully accused of something, I'm sure you would want to exhaust all resources to clear your name as well. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not here to sway anyone's opinion, right or left. I've been saying that the entire time. People know that I have been a huge fan of Jay-Z over the years, but it's not my responsibility to absolve him of any crime, any wrongdoing, or convince anyone, right or left, of what to believe. That's just my stance on it, right? So, again, Jay-Z's been very active in trying to get this thing thrown out. As a matter of fact, he's filed two motions to the judge in this case to, one, ask for a dismissal, and also, following the dismissal request, he followed up with an account from a former Tony Buzbee client, which reached out to his attorneys, and they've got a story saying that Tony Buzbee basically was trying to coax them into filing false, fraudulent lawsuits that would implicate Diddy and Jay-Z. Okay? So this story is getting thick. There's a lot going on. There's Twitter investigators out there that are looking into the night of the VMAs from 2000 and the after parties that everybody attended to see where the location was and if it lines up with the story that's coming from this actual lawsuit that's talking about Jay-Z and Diddy. We're going to get to that, but I want to get to the information that's being presented by the professionals first, and then we'll get to some of the other stuff that's happening via social media, okay? So first up, let's get to the motion for dismissal that was filed yesterday. All right, here we go. So this is coming from the law firm Quinn Emanuel, Trial Lawyers, New York, which is Jay-Z's representation. Alex Spiro is a partner of, well, I don't know if he's a partner, but I know that's the firm that he works for. Let's just be safe and say that, because typically partners have their name in the title. But anyway, via email and U.S. mail, Torres, NYSD Chambers, I believe that is the judge. Sorry, that scrolled so fast. Honorable Annalisa Torres, Daniel Patrick Moynihan, United States Courthouse, New York. This is the Jane Doe versus Sean Carter. They state, Dear Honorable Judge Torres, we write on behalf of our client Sean Carter concerning the inflammatory allegations made against him in the recently filed amended complaint. Based on the meritless and frivolous accusations, Mr. Carter filed a motion to deny plaintiff's request to proceed anonymously pursuant to Fed R Civil P 10A or to dismiss the complaint pursuant to Federal Code R Civil P 12B1 this morning. Due to the highly sensitive nature of this matter and the intense media scrutiny it has generated, we respectfully request to be heard on an expedited basis. So they want to get this thing moved up. For the avoidance of doubt, Mr. Carter is entirely innocent. This is a shakedown. He is not mentioned, referenced, or implicated in any way in the criminal investigation of Mr. Combs. He is neither a target nor a person of interest in that investigation. Adding to the urgency of this matter, Attorney Buzbee has orchestrated a months-long press campaign aimed at inflaming public opinion and escalating the events in real time on social media platforms. Every day and in real time, Busby continues to amplify false narratives, exploiting the legal process to generate media attention and damage Mr. Carter's reputation. This relentless campaign underscores the need for a fast-track hearing to address these issues promptly and prevent further harm. Plaintiff's request to proceed anonymously is both procedurally improper and unsupported by law. Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 10A requires all parties to be named in their pleadings, reflecting the bedrock principle of transparency in judicial proceedings. Plaintiff has failed to demonstrate any compelling circumstances that would justify an extraordinary departure from this rule. The speculative and unsubstantiated claims of harm presented by plaintiff's counsel do not meet the stringent standards required by the Second Circuit and other federal courts to allow pseudonymity. Okay? Furthermore, plaintiff's allegations, coupled with the conduct of her counsel, Anthony Busby, suggest a deliberate attempt to leverage the judicial process to generate unwarranted media attention and pressure Mr. Carter into a settlement. This misuse of the legal system undermines both its integrity and Mr. Carter's ability to defend himself effectively. It is critical that plaintiff's identity be disclosed so that Mr. Carter can investigate and respond to the claims fully and fairly. He's already declared that he did not do this. Now he wants to know who this is that is presenting these claims outside of just the attorney. I want to meet my accuser, or at least know who they are. We further note that the timing of this filing coincides with ongoing media coverage of unrelated matters involving Mr. Combs' criminal trial, in which Mr. Busby does not represent victims, underscoring the prejudicial and retaliatory nature of plaintiff's claims. So he's saying that he's basically doing a dog pile during Diddy's federal investigation, and he's saying he doesn't represent any of the clients that are actually does not represent any of the victims that are related to Diddy's federal investigation, right? Which it does seem that way. The amended complaint appears designed, not to seek justice, but rather to amplify unsubstantiated allegations and harm Mr. Carter's reputation by Anthony Busby. Allowing plaintiff to proceed anonymously would deny Mr. Carter the fundamental right to confront his accuser, while simultaneously enabling plaintiff and her counsel to conduct a trial by media. I don't feel like I disagree with what they're presenting. Given these circumstances, we respectfully urge the court to deny plaintiff's request to proceed anonymously and dismiss the complaint pursuant to Rule 12b-1. This matter is of the utmost importance, and we request an expedited hearing to address these significant procedural and substantive issues. Okay? We are available at the court's earliest convenience to provide additional briefing or to appear for a hearing on this matter. Respectfully, Quinn Emanuel, Urquhart and Sullivan, LLP, Alex Spiro. So again, they want to get this thing either tossed out or they want to get this resolved as quickly as possible and expedited, basically so that Jay-Z doesn't have to be thinking about this going into 2025. He wants to get this thing resolved as quickly as possible. Okay? Now, some people may say, well, the victim or the alleged victim should be able to not disclose their identity, because then if they do, Jay-Z could then do some retaliatory actions, right? Whether that may consist of harassment, whether that may consist of, some people feel like Jay-Z would send his people, his minions perhaps, to contact this person and try to pressure them into backing out, following them around as Tony Busby has claimed people are doing him. And I'm not going to say that those are invalid statements, because I'm not here to invalidate anybody's feelings or anybody's story or anybody's victimhood, right? But just coming from the standpoint of the accused, they say, hey, if I know I didn't do this thing, I feel that I'm being shaken down for financial relief that is unjust, and I'm coming out and stating that I didn't do it, I would like to at least know who this person is, because why do I have to fight a ghost? Right? I'm going back and forth with this person's lawyer, and he's doing everything in his power to snuff out the attorney. But I want to know what this person's motive is. What drove you to this point to where you wanted to wrongfully accuse me? I don't think that is out of order. Right? We'll continue because there's more. So now we've got another letter from Quinn Emanuel law firm to the judge, same judge. And in this letter, they uncover how they've been reached out to by a former client of Tony Busby that is admitting that Tony Busby has some shady practices when it comes to practicing law, to the extent of filing false claims. Okay? So they say, Dear Honorable Judge Torres, on December 8th, 2024, plaintiff filed an amended complaint naming my client, Sean Carter, as a defendant in this lawsuit. On December 9th, 2024, we filed a motion seeking to have the court decline to permit the plaintiff in this case to proceed anonymously. As noted in that motion, plaintiff's attorney, Anthony Busby, has engaged in a campaign to leverage unfounded and heinous allegations against celebrities to secure large settlements. He seeks neither justice nor peace for his victims. He only seeks to benefit himself. Okay? So this is where they get into the meat and potatoes of this thing. On the afternoon of December 9th, 2024, after we had submitted the motion and accompanying exhibits, our offices received outreach via phone call and email from an individual who provided her name to us, though wishes to remain anonymous. All right. So they got a phone call and an email from a former client of Busby who at this point wishes to remain anonymous. But I'm sure if the judge permits them to move forward with this claim, they would probably have to come out. Mari Henderson spoke to this woman, who informed Ms. Henderson that she had previously reached out to the Buzbee law firm with respect to allegations of trafficking and abuse unrelated to Mr. Combs or Mr. Carter. All right. I want to hone in on that piece. They say that she came to him with allegations of trafficking and abuse. Right. So she had been through some form of terror and an abuse on her end. However, it was not related to Diddy, nor was it related to Jay-Z. The Buzbee firm representative with whom she spoke asked the woman when she met Diddy, even though her account did not relate to Mr. Combs at all. So she comes with her own thing, and I believe we'll get to it. But she came with her own grievances, completely isolated from anything Diddy or Jay-Z related. And the representative in which she spoke with says, "When did you meet Diddy?" She like, "Dog, when did I say that? I came here for something completely different." Okay? Did not relate to Mr. Combs at all. Members of the Buzbee firm encouraged this woman to pursue her claims anonymously, even though she did not have any interest in doing so. When the woman raised wanting to talk to law enforcement, she was informed that it was not encouraged. After several outreaches, the woman again spoke with members of the Buzbee firm, who she felt were pressing her to make allegations of being drugged, held down, and physically assaulted, allegations that were not true. When the woman declined to adopt the version of events proposed by members of the Buzbee firm, she was summarily dropped as a client. I will reiterate once more. They're saying she came to them with her own account of trafficking and abuse of someone that was inflicted upon to her by someone completely different. But since the trafficking and abuse fit the bill for Diddy's allegations to complete the media storm on him, they took her story and applied it toward Diddy and or Jay-Z. Now, I don't know if this is the exact client from the lawsuit that Jay-Z is currently fighting. I don't know that. It sounds very similar. But I don't know. We don't know if this is the same person. That would be a crazy twist if it is. If she was dropped, but they're still submitting these false claims on behalf of her because they don't have to disclose anyone's identity because they're using this Jane Doe tag. I don't know. Right? Again, when she raised wanting to talk to law enforcement, she was informed that it was not encouraged. After several outreaches, the woman again spoke with the members of the Buzbee firm who she felt were pressing her to make allegations of being drugged, held down, and physically assaulted, allegations that were not true. When the woman declined to adopt the version of events, she was summarily dropped as a client. Though the woman provided her identity to Miss Henderson, she wishes to remain unnamed at this time for fear of retaliation by the Buzbee firm. So she's in fear of retaliation coming from Tony. The information provided by this woman is in the declaration of Mari Henderson, attached here too as Exhibit A. Now, I don't have Exhibit A, but they have it. This information, which came to Quinn Emanuel unsolicited, which means they didn't ask for it, is further evidence in support of Mr. Carter's right to thoroughly investigate, test, and respond to the spurious allegations that have been leveled against him. We respectfully request that the court consider this additional information, which was received by Quinn Emanuel only after the filing of yesterday's motion was complete, in connection with the motion to deny the plaintiff's request to proceed anonymously. Respectfully submitted, Quinn Emanuel, Urquhart, and Sullivan, LLP. This is Alex Spiro. They're saying they have an actual witness, an actual client of Tony Buzbee coming out and admitting, I went to him, I wanted to file a separate lawsuit, and they wanted to attach Diddy and Jay-Z to it. Although that was not my intention, to begin with. I have no knowledge of what the fuck they got going on, but they just moved forward with it anyway, or at least encouraged her to do so. And when she put up resistance to do so, they dropped her. Y'all can, believe what you want. I know some people are going to say they don't believe it. They're going to say it's mighty convenient. You're well within your right to believe that. Here we have a declaration from Miss Mari Henderson, right? So this is another letter to the judge, this time coming from Mari Henderson, who's from Quinn Emanuel as well. So she's putting her personal stamp to say that I spoke with this person. Here's my account, right? So it says, I, Mari Henderson, swear under penalty of perjury, which is a serious crime, pursuant to 28 USC 1746 as follows. I am an associate with the law firm of Quinn Emanuel, Urquhart and Sullivan, LLP attorneys for defendant Sean Carter, and I submit this declaration in support of Mr. Carter's motion to deny plaintiff's motion to proceed anonymously. On December 9th, I spoke by telephone with a female adult resident of the state of Texas whose name is known to me. Another adult whose full name is known to me was a witness to the conversation. This information contained in this declaration is an accurate summary of the information provided to me by this woman on December 9th, 2024, namely that in early October 2024, this woman saw coverage of attorney Anthony Buzbee's press conference regarding allegations of trafficking and abuse by Sean Combs and submitted a brief outline of trafficking exploitation events via Buzbee Law Firm website submission form. The woman spoke with 3 members of Mr. Buzbee's firm and provided details regarding her experiences as a victim of trafficking by celebrities entirely unrelated to Mr. Combs or Mr. Carter, and she was told that they would take on her representation. So she was enticed by the advertisements that Tony Buzbee was running in relation to the Diddy trial or the Diddy filings that he was planning to do, right? So she says, okay, well, if you're attacking trafficking and abuse cases, let me come forth and tell my story, which it sounds like she was going to out, or I won't say out, but she was going to file a civil suit against a completely different celebrity. Who that celebrity could be, I don't know. But she says it wasn't Diddy or Jay-Z, right? And she was told that they would take her on for representation. After detailing her experiences to an attorney at Mr. Buzbee's firm, he pressed for a connection to Mr. Combs, asking at what point did you meet Diddy, even though she made clear her case was unrelated to Mr. Combs. So she's doubling. So Miss Mari Henderson is doubling down on what was already stated. Mr. Buzbee's firm pressed for this woman to pursue a civil case as an anonymous Doe plaintiff, even though she never raised proceeding anonymously as a possibility. She wanted to come out as herself. She didn't even want to be anonymous. And questioned doing so after it was heavily suggested to remain doing so, even though she was not interested in remaining anonymous at the time. When the woman brought up wanting to go to law enforcement with her allegations, members of the Buzbee firm informed her that going to law enforcement was not encouraged. After not hearing from Mr. Buzbee's firm for weeks, during which this woman tried to contact the firm multiple times, she spoke again with a member of the firm who pressed her to confirm false details regarding her experiences as a victim, including that she was drugged, held down, pushed, and physically assaulted. She felt directed and coached by Mr. Buzbee's firm to say that someone held her down and put drugs in her mouth when that was not her experience. She felt forced to lie. When the woman made clear she was unwilling to adapt to the narrative Mr. Buzbee's firm laid out and wanted only to speak her... Mr. Buzbee's firm laid out and wanted only to speak her truth, she was dropped as a client and told that Mr. Buzbee's firm was unwilling to represent her any longer. She felt as though once she had expressed that she was not a coachable victim, she was dismissed. This woman shared this information because she felt the conduct by Mr. Buzbee's firm, specifically to encourage lies, discredits those who are legitimate victims. The woman expressed that she fears retaliation from Mr. Buzbee's firm if she shares her true identity or signs her name to a declaration in this case at this time. I declare under the penalty of perjury that the foregoing statements are true and correct, executed in Los Angeles, California on this 10th day of December. This woman is coming out saying this man and his law firm encouraged me to lie when I came with my own case. They wanted to attach me to this over here. So that's the latest on this whole thing, right? In addition to that, Tony Busby is also being sued for assault on his own accord by a divorce client that he was formerly representing. Okay? A woman who's issuing her identity as Jane Doe as well to protect her own identity claims to have been a former client of Tony Busby. She has filed a lawsuit obtained by TMZ in which she alleges the attorney assaulted her while repping her in a divorce case. They say the documents do not lay out specifics of the alleged assault, but a source connected to the woman tells TMZ she is alleging she was in a public place when Busby saw her, flew into a fit of rage, and allegedly pushed a champagne flute into her face, chipping her tooth. She says she has both medical and dental records to prove her injuries. She also alleges he committed malpractice, claiming he messed up her divorce case, costing her millions of dollars. TMZ says this alleged assault occurred several years ago. The woman's lawyer, Jeremy Borer, has spoken to TMZ and said Tony Busby is a hypocrite. There is nothing worse than when a black hat masquerades as a white hat. Okay? Now, Tony Busby denies that this ever happened. He says it's crazy fiction, ridiculously crazy. But this woman says, at bare minimum, she has hospital and dental records to prove her injuries. As of yet, with the Jay-Z lawsuit, we don't have medical records to substantiate any claims coming from that side. So just giving y'all, there's a lot of talk going around about this Busby guy. And unfortunately, based on the information that's floating around, it seems that he is willing to sacrifice the integrity of his job in order to force people into settlements. Right? That's what it seems like on the surface. I can't speak to his character. I don't know him. I've never met him. But that's what the information being presented is painting him as. And there's multiple stories and cases out there that point to this. Furthermore, information was released today about Tony Busby of him allegedly stealing settlement money from one of his clients. We'll go through that as well. Let's see. They say Jay-Z isn't the only one targeting attorney Tony Busby in court. A former client claims Busby acted more like his loan shark than his lawyer in a personal injury case. Directly on the heels of Jay-Z's scorching attack on Busby, Matthew Ray Thompson Jr. is now unloading on him, filing a federal lawsuit Monday against his ex-attorney. According to the docs obtained by TMZ, Thompson said he was injured in July 2023 while working as a deckhand on a vessel that struck a barge in the Houston Ship Channel. He says he retained Busby, who filed a lawsuit on his behalf in November of 2023, which triggered automatic payments to Thompson from his employer while his lawsuit was pending. But in the suit, Thompson claims those payments were delivered directly to Busby's firm, and then Busby gave him disbursements with one very expensive catch. So the money was not coming to him. It was going to Tony's firm, and then they were giving him pieces of the money, right? Thompson alleges Busby loaned him his own funds and, to add insult to injury, also charged him a high interest rate. He claims Busby held back more than 60% of the money he was owed, and he alleges Busby has a rep for pulling this move with other clients as well. Rep as in reputation. Okay? They say while Busby's former client doesn't make reference to Diddy or Jay-Z, Thompson does paint a picture of Busby that's similar to the claims made by Jay on Sunday in his scathing statement. Thompson says Busby has become rich by milking settlements with threats of negative attention from people who rely on their public reputations for their livelihood. Okay? Now, Busby has spoken to TMZ in his own response, and he's not taking too kindly to what they're saying. Okay? So he tells TMZ, he says Mr. Thompson was solicited and paid to bring this case. Since when do y'all pay people to bring cases forward anyway? He says, he's alleging that somebody paid him to speak to this. Is that what you're saying? It has no merit. The lawyers who brought it would have seen that had they bothered to do any due diligence at all. In his suit, Thompson claims our firm failed to forward him payments made by his former employer. That's patently untrue. His employer refused to make any such payments to him. He claims the fees weren't explained. That's also patently false. Am I freezing? Shit. Hold on, y'all. All right, we back in the game. What was he saying? Patently false? He signed a contract that clearly set forth the fees. He claims that the expenses weren't explained. Again, patently false. He signed an affidavit at settlement agreeing to the expenses and acknowledging they were explained. Finally, Thompson's claim that the firm took more than the contractual fee is patently false. He signed an affidavit stating that all was done correctly. The bottom line is that the investigators who manufactured this case and the lawyers who filed it were reckless and foolish. He says the case is junk and the effort behind it will be exposed. Okay? So he is also alleging that Jay-Z's investigators are offering money to his former clients. If I gotta speak to one, I gotta speak to all, right? So Tony Buzbee says, Jay-Z's investigators contacted more than 40 former clients they apparently found on Venmo. How did they go looking for them on Venmo? It's an interesting tactic of finding your former clients. They each were offered $1,000 to sue me. $1,000? A billionaire just offering $1,000? Okay. We have the investigators caught on tape admitting. Okay. They gave this client money to bring this case. We will be seeking state bar action against the lawyers involved because such conduct is a state law crime and also violates the ethical rules that govern lawyers. The case itself is frivolous and will be dismissed as such. Now, what I find interesting is you're saying it's illegal to pay a client, but this client, Matthew Ray Thompson, said that you paid him money out of your pocket as a loan, and then you took the money that he was supposed to receive from his employer, I guess from an injury case, and you kept it. And you didn't deny that you kept it. You just said that we gave him the paperwork stating that this was going to happen. He signed it, so it's all fair and square. Very interesting to me. Again, there's also the case out there of Tony Buzbee issuing false text messages against, I think it was a medical professional, but let me be clear on that. Nope, that's correct. A medical professional. So they say the Texas Supreme Court has rebuked an effort by prominent plaintiff's attorney Tony Buzbee to deploy the Texas Citizens Participation Act to shield him from liability for media advertising that defamed an El Paso physician. In an order handed down this morning, the court declined review in Busby and the Busby law firm versus Canales on appeal from the El Paso Court of Appeals. The case rose from a series of advertisements placed by the Buzbee law firm in El Paso media identifying Dr. Canales, some of which... Hold on. It gets cut off here. On appeal, Busby once again... Okay, so he put some type of... it's like a billboard banner up, advertisement saying, "Did Dr. Roberto Canales kill or hurt your child?" He put a hotline out. And the courts dropped it. They say on appeal, Busby once again argued that the ads did not constitute commercial speech because they did not solicit clients. He also made the somewhat stunning argument that Dr. Canales presented no proof that the Busby or his firm actually provided legal services. So he comes out and says, y'all can't prove that I actually provide legal services, even though he runs a law firm. Dr. Canales' reply pointed out that the Busby firm widely advertises its services based on its record of success in obtaining large jury verdicts and his reputation as a go-to trial lawyer. The El Paso court easily saw through the smoke screen and found that Busby is primarily engaged in selling legal services and that the ads in question were placed primarily for that purpose. Indeed, in addition to the El Paso court, the Tyler Amarillo and San Antonio courts of appeals have ruled that lawyers and law firms representing clients are primarily engaged in the business of selling legal services. I don't even understand how a lawyer could come out and say that they don't offer legal services as an out. That's weird. Furthermore, he created fake text messages against Mayor Turner in Houston. Fox 26 did an article back in October of 2019. They say Mayor Turner calls for criminal investigation of Tony Busby's attack ad. Tony Busby defends campaign ad attack against Mayor Turner. Mayor Turner is calling for a criminal investigation of Tony Busby after suspicions arose about the content of his attack ad. Busby says it's just pure silliness. I mean, the whole thing is foolish. The Turner campaign says the ad is illegal due to the iMessage screenshot and the photo of Mayor Turner and Marvin Agamago. Y'all that live in Texas, y'all might know who these people are. It says, for one thing, it purports to show a phone with a text message allegedly from Mr. Agamago to the mayor, and our forensic experts said very likely it's just an artistic rendering, but they're presenting it as, this is the mayor. This is the text message from this young man, which they obviously don't have, said Sue Davis, a Turner campaign spokesman. According to the law, a deep fake video means a video created with the intent to deceive. So he has very deceptive practices. Like, hey man, this is just what's out there. If it ain't associated with your name, nobody could bring it up. So he utilizes deceptive practices in order to get what he wants, which ultimately is money and victory. That's all I see here. Now, as it pertains to Jay-Z's whereabouts on the night of the VMAs in the year 2000, let's see what the people are saying. And this is Twitter information, so it's up to you to decipher and discern how you see it. This is coming from a Beyonce stan page, I will admit that, called the B Theory, but they are sharing public information. Shout out to Opinionated Truths for sending this my way. And for those that say, oh, somebody sent you this, you're being persuaded. No, if I didn't think it was of any value, I wouldn't speak on it. You could send me everything in the book. Don't mean I'm gonna talk about it. So the VMAs, September of 2000, was held at Radio City in New York. The show started at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The show ran for 3 hours and 10 minutes. So the show ended roughly at 11 p.m. Assuming the after party start at exactly 11 p.m. We'll work from there. According to the original claim, Jane Doe stated that she did not have tickets, so she sat outside and watched the show on the Jumbotron. It does not state whether she watched the entire show or not, but she then states she went looking around for ways to get to an after party and was approaching limos, which, to be honest, that's very strange. At 13 years old, you would think stranger danger is more of a thing rather than jumping into random limos. But hey, some people have a thrill-seeking thing they got going on. According to the original claim, without Jay's name, so this is coming from the first filing where they redacted Jay-Z. She stated the driver told her to be back in that spot at 9:30. The award show ended at 11, started at 8, so the show was nowhere near over at 9:30, and everyone was still inside, which makes sense because how can you go to an after party at 9:30 if the show's still going on till 11? In the updated lawsuit that includes Jay-Z's name, Tony B, Buzbee, removed the timestamp of the driver claiming to meet at 9:30. So now that piece that was in the original filing has been taken out to remove that timestamp. It wouldn't add up because all celebrities were still inside the venue at the award show. The new claim states he told her to come back to that spot after the event was over. So presumably from 9 to around 11. 9:30 to 11. In the new claim, Jane Doe claims that the driver told her that he had to drop off Diddy and others to an after party first, then he would come back for her. So that means that the driver left Radio City at 11 p.m. to drop Diddy and whoever off. The original claim does not say this. So as you can see, it's been modified, not only just with Jay-Z's name, but the account of the story has been modified. I did not have the original filing. So they say Diddy went to a party called I Believe hosted, or maybe this was a venue. No, went to I Believe hosted by NSYNC, an after party at Twirl that night. Jay-Z was not pictured at that party. Again, at 2 nightclubs during the timing of that she would have been at the house party she described. So they did end up at the same party together, I will say that, but I guess Diddy made a stop first at this place called Twirl that was being hosted by NSYNC. But the after party that Jay-Z attended was at a venue called Lotus, which is now closed. Okay. And I'll go ahead and show y'all a photo of this venue Lotus, or at least what it used to be. In contrast to the lawsuit's description of the place. Let me blow this up. So this is the club Lotus that Jay-Z was at. Okay? It was on this street. Okay? In the lawsuit, however, it was described as a house, right? It was a huge mansion with a U-shaped driveway. This photo certainly does not depict a mansion nor a U-shaped driveway. And that's just the truth. She stated it took a long time for the driver to come back for her. The party Jay went to was roughly 20 minutes away. VMA's traffic would be insane, so let's say 30 minutes. I would think even more. Shit, man. I went to New York and I had to go to fucking, I was in Manhattan trying to go to Harlem. That shit was like a real quick little whoop-de-loop-de-loop-de-loo. That shit took a half hour and we made like 4 turns and I was where I needed to be. I said, God damn, this shit was a 30-minute ride. Just I could have probably walked this shit. Jesus. But you know, hey man, what do I know? I don't live there. She stated it took a long time for the driver to come back for her. The party Jay went to was roughly 20 minutes away. VMA's traffic would be insane. Let's say 30 minutes. I would say more. So to go and come back to Radio City took the driver about an hour. They say so that means that by the time the driver came to get her, Jay-Z already at the Lotus after party for about 30 minutes. He just got there. He picks her up, which is the driver, not Jay. And he takes her to a gated white house with a U-shaped driveway that is 20 minutes away. They state, let's note again that the after party Jay-Z attended was not a house. It was a nightclub in downtown Manhattan hosted by Eminem and Dr. Dre. There's no driveway at all and no living room, as she described, and more than likely was invite only. Okay. And they've got a photo of Jay-Z inside this party at this particular location on the night of the alleged incident. Let me pull this out a little further. Jay-Z photographed arriving at the MTV Music Video Awards after party at the Lotus nightclub in downtown Manhattan on September 7, 2000. The award show was held at Radio City Music Hall. Blase blah. That's crazy. Now some might say, hey, maybe there was an after party. Okay, well, we would have to see how that goes. Okay. Furthermore, they state the claim states that the victim accepted a drink from a waiter. This is important because the lawyer is saying that Jay-Z drugged her, but the claim filed says she took the drink from a waiter that was walking around with them. This is the original and new claim about the drinks. Interestingly enough, the suit says that there was a drink from a waiter, but even inside the filing of the lawsuit, there's no picture of a glass, where there would have been a drink that may have been drugged. There was a picture of a vial, of some sort, but not a glass. So there's details of this story that just are not adding up. And again, I'm not here to discredit anyone. I don't know who this accuser is. I don't know anything about them. And it seems to be purposely that way, that we don't know anything about this person. But just based on public information that's been out for the last 24 years, this doesn't seem to be accurate. All right. This person continues. So the story we are supposed to believe is that Jay-Z magically left a nightclub to end up at a random house party at the perfect moment when she's in a room alone after he somehow drugged a drink he didn't give her, and out of the several rooms knew exactly which one she was in. I don't know, right? I can't. That's not my theory. But that is somewhat what's being put in that lawsuit. For those that are trying to place Beyonce as the unnamed woman at the scene, they have listed where Beyonce and Destiny Child were, which it doesn't even add up that Beyonce would have been there because she was not even dating Jay-Z yet in the year 2000. So that already negates her presence. Others may believe that J-Lo is there, but Beyonce at the time of this all of this going on, her and her group mates were at Tommy Mottola's VMA after party at a venue called Moomba in New York City on September 7th, 2000. And I guess I could show y'all that photo as well for anyone that wants to place Beyonce at the scene, because some people do believe that she was the unnamed woman. Okay. Others I've seen have also tried to place Mary J. Blige there. I don't know Mary J's whereabouts. Okay. So I can't tell you, and I can't tell you if this, if any of this occurred or didn't. But as you can see here, this is DC, Beyonce, Kelly, and Michelle completely not even in the same place. They weren't at the house party. They weren't at Lotus. And they weren't at whatever that other place was that Diddy was at that I mentioned a few minutes ago. Okay? Furthermore, this person states Miss Tina Knowles was with them supervising them, so she wasn't letting neither one of them three girls out of her sight. Okay? And of course, the Twitter investigators are saying there's pretty much no way that they went to a large gated mansion that close to Manhattan based on the structure of the city and where the actual suburbs and big houses and homes, mansions are located. They're basically saying you would have to get to Midtown, which is a nice ride out. Otherwise, you would have to be going towards Jersey. Now, I am not a geography major. I damn sure don't know the geography of New York. I've only been there a couple times in my life. So I'll leave that to some of my East Coast insiders to give us a little bit of insight as to the landscape regarding Manhattan to wherever the huge mansion homes are located in relation, right? But I just wanted to go ahead and put everything on the table because, to be honest, I'm tired of talking about this shit. Once I talk about something 2-3 times, even with the Kendrick and Drake shit, like, I'm damn sure tired of talking about that shit. But that's what everybody's intrigued by, and this is what's getting the conversation rolling. This is what people are tuning into. The search engine is telling us that's what it is, and new information is coming out. But to be honest, I'm not here to advocate for anybody, right? If Jay-Z were to go down today and be locked up for the rest of his life, I've enjoyed his music, but that ain't got shit to do with me. You understand what I'm saying? And the same goes for everybody. We've seen, look, man, I used to wear Fat Farm. Finding out Russell Simmons' dark past. He ain't had no raps I recited. But that nigga built a label that I used to want to be a part of, and shit, how that changed. So it ain't gonna affect me. But let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider. As more updates get released, I'm sure there will be, because Jay-Z, once again, is being very steadfast, being very consistent, being very persistent with the way that he's approaching this. So I would not be surprised if more information comes out throughout the week where he's trying to get this thing tossed out, placed behind him so that he can move forward with the rest of his life, continue supporting his daughter with the whole Lion King thing, and start getting towards Beyonce's NFL Christmas performance and making sure that Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance goes well in February. I'm sure the NFL is not pleased to see these things going on. So to appease his political connects, I'm sure he's trying to get this shit done ASAPly. Again, I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rag. Leading my people like quarterback. But I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. But drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they died of me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but you run no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.